JBN, we keep you informed. Father murdered after dropping daughter at school. A Kingston man was murdered by hoodlums at his 2-year-old daughter's school gate along Nelson Road on Tuesday. The man, 27-year-old Oral Gray, lived in the Greenwich Farm area of the city. Him carry the baby go school. Mayor St. Part the car and 5 men run him down and just fire a beer shot, his baby's mother said. The grieving woman said that Gray, who operated a taxi, was dropping off his daughter and other children. Me normally go with him at morning time, but me never go this morning because the baby did late. So me just tell him to go on with the baby, she said as tears flowed down her face. The incident took place sometime after 8 o'clock. Nothing like this has ever happened before, a teacher said. There were a few children and they were frightened. We had 2 classes, 2 kids that were frightened. One thought it was her mother, the other thought it was the father. Apart from that, the teachers were alert and up to the task given to them. So as you notice, the classroom doors are closed and teachers are inside with the students, making sure that they're okay, she said. Up to yesterday, the police had not ascertained the motive for the killing. However, some residents opinioned that it may be linked to an ongoing gang feud. It's a man who usually carry him daughter come to school in the morning. Them man are not really in the war, but him have family were in the war, so them just lay wait him, said one resident. Taximan chopped to death by cousin. 52-year-old taxi operator Stafford Wright was allegedly chopped to death by a family member in Cameron Hill, St. Elizabeth on Sunday. Superintendent Samuel Morgan, head of the St. Elizabeth Police, said that Wright, who is from Eslop Avenue in Kingston, came to St. Elizabeth to evict his cousin DeAndre Williams, otherwise called Kadeen, from a house he owns in the community. The information that we have so far is that Wright and a family member had a dispute over a house. The relative was supposed to move out and they had a dispute, and he sustained a number of wounds with a machete, he said. Morgan said the relative has since fled the area. The family member was seen fleeing the house and the police were called. We are still searching for him. We know that he is originally from Kingston, from the Waterhouse area, and was staying at the house for some time, he said. Morgan added that Williams was living there with his girlfriend. Reports from the Black River Police are that about 3:25 p.m., Wright was found in the bedroom of a house with multiple chop wounds. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, the scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. Haile Selassie students struck by lightning recovering, says Issa. The Intersecondary School Sports Association, Issa, is reporting that the Haile Selassie student who was struck by lightning at an Issa Manning Cup match on Tuesday is recovering from his ordeal. Issa, in a statement yesterday, said that the student, who has been identified as Akeem Reed, is responsive and that the latest test results indicate no internal injuries. He continues to be monitored at the Kingston Public Hospital. The group encounter between Haile Selassie High and Cumberland High was initially called off after rain made the field waterlogged. After both officials and players left the field, Reed reportedly went back to retrieve a roll of tape when lightning struck him. This is the second incident in recent weeks this season, as 5 players were hit by lightning during a game between Jamaica College and Wolmer's Boys on September 16 at the Stadium East field. Since that incident and subsequent postponements due to severe weather, Issa has moved up the start time of all games after September 25 to 2 p.m. Issa President Keith Wellington said the association has sought the assistance of the Ministry of Health and Wellness in moving forward. The health and well-being of athletes is a priority. We have guidelines and policies to reduce the likelihood of something like this happening, but these have been extraordinary times, and hence we have made additional changes to the schedule since the first incident, said Wellington. We are currently in discussions with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Emergency Medical Department, which will issue an advisory in short order regarding the matter of how the public should respond in circumstances relating to the current adverse weather patterns, he said. Mobius Mayor donates fogging machines to Health Department. The St James Municipal Corporation has delivered 3 fogging machines to the parish's Health Department to boost its vector control program. The department has stepped up its vector control exercise in the face of a major dengue scare in several communities in the parish. Late last week, Montego Bay Mayor Homer Davis and his deputy councillor Leroy Williams presented the fogging machines to Lennox Wallace, the acting parish manager of the St James Health Department. At a municipal meeting in July, Wallace, in his then capacity as the Chief Public Health Inspector for St James, stated that his department was struggling to meet its vector control mandate because of inadequate fogging machines to combat the mosquito population. Subsequent to Wallace's announcement, Williams moved a motion for the corporation to procure and supply the health department with the 3 fogging machines which cost $1.2 million. This commitment comes against the background of the need expressed by Mr. Wallace at one of our meetings, and as mayor, I feel compelled to act, said Davis in making the presentation. I hope this donation will greatly boost the vector control program in St. James, as based on reports, there continues to be a mosquito problem in several areas. According to Davis, the donation forms part of the corporation's civic responsibility to safeguard residents of the parish from the challenge posed by the large mosquito population as well as the threat of mosquito-borne diseases. In accepting the gift from the mayor, an elated Wallace said the gesture showed that the municipal corporation was committed to helping to improve the quality of life of residents. The presentation of these machines has further solidified the relationship between the St. James Municipal Corporation and the St. James Health Department, he said. MOE CMU mum on Pinnock's return. Mum's the word neither the Ministry of Education nor the Caribbean Maritime University CMU would budge yesterday as answers were sought on Caribbean Maritime University CMU President Fritz Pinnock's return to his duties on Monday. Pinnock had proceeded on voluntary leave on July 5 amid ongoing corruption investigations involving several agencies under the Ministry of Education, including the CMU. He had initially indicated that he would be stepping back for 6 weeks to allow the relevant authorities to conduct their probe, but that was later extended, reportedly, to give investigators more time. Since Pinnock returned to take up his duties at the Palisades-based university on Monday, Education Ministry officials and the CMU have been tight-lipped, refusing to shed any light on the status of the investigations the president went on leave to facilitate. When contacted yesterday, Dr. Grace McLean, acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, said she was in a meeting and could not facilitate any question. Upon hearing the subject matter, she directed her team to submit questions to Colin Steer, the ministry's Director of Corporate Communications. These questions are best directed to the CMU Council, Steer responded. When CMU was contacted, they too dodged the questions. I cannot comment on that, a member of the Marketing and Communications Unit said. Carl Samuda, the minister overseeing the education portfolio, had also been stumped, saying that Pinnock was not directed by the ministry to proceed on leave and that he had no knowledge of his return to take up duties at the CMU. Details of the findings of the investigations to date have not been made public. However, it has been disclosed that a criminal probe is underway regarding discarded Education Minister Rael Reid. Government to spend $550 million to repair roads ravaged by recent showers. Heavy rains in recent days have left the government with an emergency bill for more than $550 million to clear and reinstate over 200 roadways across the island. At the same time, however, citizens grappling with severe water restrictions will get some relief as Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that the National Water Commission, NWC, will relax some of its conservation measures. According to Holness, a report by the National Works Agency, NWA, has revealed that 215 roadways have been damaged by flood events since the start of the current fiscal year in April, resulting in a bill of some $640 million to reopen and reinstate those roads. Of this amount, $554 million is to cover damage caused by the recent heavy rains. At present, all roads have been reopened to at least single lane, while work continues to remove blockages and the silt and the landslides, Holness said in a statement to the House of Representatives. Approximately $54.75 million of the remaining $84.73 million was spent to carry out emergency road repairs earlier this year. Holness noted that his administration has already tabled in Parliament a revised budget for the current fiscal year and is therefore not in a position to somehow find money. So what we'll be doing is re-examining the budget that we have and do what governments have to do, which is prioritize, he said. just over a week after Jamaica successfully completed its financial arrangements with the International Monetary Fund (IMF, the Prime Minister sought to make it clear that his administration is committed to fiscal discipline. The real test is not the IMF test. The real test is if the government can maintain fiscal discipline without an external supervision, he insisted. Under my watch, and I'm certain that if any favors should fall otherwise, that anyone else that would have the watch would ensure that Jamaica would not return to the days when we were profligate with our finances. Up to yesterday, according to Holness, the two main water storage facilities in the corporate area, the Mona Reservoir and the Hermitage Dam, were at 54% and 72% of capacity respectively. The NWC will seek to relax some of the restrictions Holness announced, while insisting that we are not going to abandon all our conservation methods. If The NWC now has some capacity, and frankly, I think the level of frustration the public is experiencing is tremendously high, and it would not be easy to explain to people why we are having rain and they still can't get any water. Number of roadways blocked or damaged by parish and the cost to repair them are: Kingston, 29 roads, $13.8 million. St Andrew, 18 roads, $46.4 million. St Catherine, 38 roads, $56.7 million. St Thomas, 16 roads, $55.2 million. Portland, 6 roads, $7 million. St Mary, 5 roads, $2.3 million. St Anne, 8 roads, $2.5 million. Clarendon, 42 roads, $188 million. Manchester, 10 roads, $53 million. St Elizabeth, 9 roads, $39 million. St James, 8 roads, $15 million. Westmoreland, 5 roads, $25 million. Anova, 14 roads, $23 million. And Trelawney, 7 roads, $25.5 million, which makes it a total of $554 million. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.